we are now less than 4 weeks away from the start of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We're getting excited, and one Houston superstar will be among those hitting the stage.
Yeah, Lizzo. She joins Marshmello and Chance the Rapper as the new acts announced today. Channel 2's Hannah McKenzie is live at NRG Park with more. Hannah.
It was already a pretty star-studded lineup, and now 3 more big names have been added to the list of performers taking the stage here next month at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
They already trying to figure out.
Houston rapper Bun B surprising students at 3 area high schools with the big news Tuesday.
We saved 3 particular performers, and you guys get to be the first people to find out.
Chance the Rapper will take the center stage at Rodeo Houston March 6th, followed by Lizzo on March 13th and Marshmello on March 20th. Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo President and CEO Joel Cowley then whipping out another surprise for Elsick, Sharpstown, and Yates High School students today.
150 students from each school will go to those respective nights and enjoy the rodeo.
Tickets officially go on sale for all 3 concerts this Thursday, February 6th at 10 a.m. You can get more info at rodeohouston.com and click2houston.com. Now, one of those performers obviously has big ties to Houston. Lizzo went to Elsick High School, and then she went on to the University of Houston. In fact, we spoke with her former band director from U of H, and you'll hear from him what he has to say about the star before all of the lights and fame. That'll be coming up tonight at 6. Reporting live from NRG Stadium, Hannah McKenzie, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
All right, Hannah, we'll look for that at 6 o'clock. And our Click to Vote question is about the rodeo acts announced today. Which Friday concert do you want to see the most? Is it Lizzo, Marshmello, or Chance the Rapper? Vote now, and we will have the final results in our newscast at 5 o'clock.
Quite the lineup, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah. Always is. They always outdo themselves every year.
They do every year, yeah. Yep. So looking forward to it for sure.
All right. Well, so we're going to go from gloomy, cloudy, warm to cold.
For about
gloomy, cloudy, cold. Okay.
Yes. But get ready for it, because it's going to be quite the wake-up tomorrow. In the meantime, here's a look at our Triangle Energy Camera. Beautiful shot of the Williams Tower, where temperatures are at 77, south winds at 11, dew point 65. It's humid out there. It's warm everywhere you look. Be interesting to see what the high actually topped out at. We'll get that in the next few minutes. But right now, upper 70s everywhere, and then you can see this south and southeast wind, 10, 12, 14 miles an hour. Not quite as breezy today as yesterday, so that's at least some help. And cloudy, I don't see any much rain. There's a bit out toward Beaumont into Louisiana, just quick splashes there. Not really looking for a lot of that tonight. It's tomorrow morning when this front gets here, and there's already snow back out here in the Panhandle into New Mexico. That arrives, and that's what's going to shake things up. So I'm going to give you a couple of futurecasts here. This is the state picture, obviously, 4 to 8 inches of snow back there. Here comes the rain for tomorrow morning, but by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, it's back to fairly just cloudy skies, but cold and cloudy skies. We put the cold air in place, then put some overrunning moisture from the Pacific on that, and the winter weather wants to continue. The big question is, would any of it end up in southeast Texas? So let's go in a little closer here. This is our futurecast as we head into this evening. Maybe a quick shower or 2, not concerned about that. Tomorrow morning, as the front approaches, a little more robust. So we may see a few showers, even a thunderstorm tomorrow morning as the front tries to get here. And then as we go into tomorrow afternoon, back to just clouds. Now, we get into tomorrow evening, and then we see a few showers, but maybe a quick spritz, but that's going to be about it. The European Futurecast has been a little more robust with this. So you can see that's some snow and some sleet out toward Gonzales and Brenham and Bryan College Station at midnight tomorrow night. It could continue at least until 2 in the morning, and then it begins to shrink. This is Thursday morning, and then by the time we get to 4, it's pretty much out of here, and certainly out of here by 6. So there's still at least one model that out to the west wants to bring in the potential for some snow or some winter weather as we go into early Thursday morning. It won't have any impacts because we'll all be asleep, but we'll continue to watch it. It's just one model, so worth mentioning. In the meantime, tomorrow morning, I've got 40s coming in. We're still in the 50s, or dropping, I should say. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, lots of 40s across the area, and it doesn't look like it's going to change much. In fact, as we go into the overnight, we're dropping right into the 30s. There are those freezing numbers that would be required for something to reach the ground as far as wintry precipitation, 31, 32, 33 at College Station. But it's going to be a cold one for Thursday morning, and it stays cold Thursday afternoon, only in the 50s. So Wednesday, it gets cold, and it stays cold into Thursday, even into Friday morning. So Power Planner Not too bad tonight. Humid and breezy, temperatures there in the 60s. So the morning low is going to be right down there at around 66. But tomorrow afternoon, we're at 56. So we go from warm to cold during the day. 36 to 52 on Thursday, 38, 68 on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, there's actually a 20% chance of a shower in the evening hours on Saturday into early Sunday. And then next week, a little messy as showers continue to try to come out of the Gulf. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Sure. Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News at 4.
Caucus chaos, a technical glitch has left Iowa voters and Democratic presidential hopefuls wondering who came out on top in the first real vote of the 2020 campaign.
The State of the Union address now just hours away, how the president is preparing as the final impeachment vote looms.
Breaking news, 24 hours after voting concluded, we are now receiving the latest results from the Iowa caucus, with 62% of precincts currently reporting from all of Iowa's 99 counties. Mayor Pete Buttigieg has 27%.
Bernie Sanders sits behind with 25%, while Elizabeth Warren stands at 18%. Joe Biden at 16%, and Amy Klobuchar at 13%.
The State of the Union address is now just hours away. President Donald Trump preparing for the speech with the cloud of impeachment that's been hanging over him about to clear.
He is all but certain to be acquitted in a vote tomorrow afternoon, and today senators are taking to the floor to explain where they stand and why. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest now from Washington.
President Trump preparing for his State of the Union address tonight. At the same time, senators ready for a final vote tomorrow in his impeachment trial. Though he's all but certain to be acquitted, the president's team says he won't declare victory until after the vote.
You don't spike a football until the clock hits 00.
A new list of the president's State of the Union guests indicating what he's likely to talk about, from jobs to school choice, immigration to the recent killing of Iran's top military leader, Qasem Soleimani.
And you can expect to hear not just some of what he's been able to accomplish in the last few years, but a vision looking forward.
Looking past impeachment, though questions remain over whether any senators will cross party lines in the final verdict. They're continuing speeches today on the Senate floor explaining how they plan to vote.
Failure to convict will send a terrible signal that this president and any future president can commit crimes against the Constitution.
The president has done nothing to warrant this impeachment process. He must be acquitted.
Republicans hoping to hold the line with no defections voting to convict. They could be joined by a few Democrats who face a delicate choice in swing districts. Either way, President Trump will deliver his speech tonight knowing the state of impeachment is nearly over. A spokesman for President Trump says the word impeachment is not even included in tonight's speech, though that could always change. From the Capitol, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, I want to go back live to Chopper 2 right now, and you are looking at San Jacinto and Rusk. It's the downtown area, and the chase that we were showing you earlier today has ended, and you can see a couple of law enforcement vehicles surrounding that gray SUV that we were watching weaving in and out of traffic, driving down road. Driving down the wrong way in certain one-way streets, and at this point we don't know if the driver is in custody, but we do know that the chase has actually stopped because they have that person pinned in here at the corner of San Jacinto and Rusk.
And again, we don't know who this driver is. We don't know if there is anybody else in the vehicle, but honing in on that gray SUV that is surrounded by white law enforcement vehicles. This chase began around 3:40, so just about an hour ago, and we actually lost sight, Sky 2, from being downtown. The buildings were hard to get around, so we lost sight of the chase for a little while. But now that we're back onto it, it appears that it has ended. And again, we don't know exactly who is behind the wheel, what their motive was, but we do know that it began with some sort of a family disturbance, and that is when the driver got in and took off and just had zero regard for everybody else on the road. We're getting a closer look now at the vehicle and the surrounding law enforcement officers. There's definitely a heavy presence of them.
It doesn't look like the individual's out of the car yet, and I don't know if this means anything or not, but when we first started talking, the headlights were not on, and then they came on for some reason. But it looks like, they're in there now, and this person is not coming out willingly. A lot of times we see in these cases where the officers will be a few feet away, and they give orders to the person in the vehicle, and that person comes out, but they are actually having to go in and get this person, unless, there could be some kind of damage to the vehicle that's making it hard for them to get out. It looks like there's a couple of officers inside. It may be there's some kind of commotion. This person is not willingly trying to come out of this vehicle.
I can't tell from our perspective, but it appears that the windshield looks shattered.
It does, yeah, it is shattered.
So perhaps, okay.
And so you see a number of officers, a lot of them have their weapons drawn. And I think they finally have them on the street. Yeah, we see a couple of SWAT officers there as well. And it looks like the suspect, whoever this person is, had to be dragged out of that driver's seat. And there's some damage to the vehicle, but we don't know if they were having trouble getting out because of that. Clearly, the officers thought that they would be able to get out on their own and just toss something from that person's person back into the vehicle. But okay, so it's an individual that is a male. He is handcuffed. He's sitting on the ground. And Sky 2, we might want to pull out a little bit. Don't know exactly how he may or may not be dressed at this point, but that's the individual. Is a male who has been leading police on a chase that probably lasted a good 45 minutes or so.
Okay, and it would appear that the SUV looked like it had hit some sort of a parking sign. It looked like he was on the sidewalk.
Yeah, we don't know what may have caused him to go ahead and finally stop, because if you were watching earlier with us for the 25 minutes or so that we had the chase on, he was getting into intersections, doing circles, and then driving down one-way streets in the wrong direction.
Even bumped a white van on the freeway at one point. So it clearly got very dangerous. And at any point, if a driver is driving that recklessly, as the rush hour gets underway, that's a problem on the roadways. And we know that the law enforcement presence was strong up to this, and it appears that SUV came face to face with some sort of parking sign or some sign that was on the sidewalk there.
Yeah, our Sky 2 crew, we're going to keep the camera pulled out to this distance because, I think some of you saw what we saw. It appears that the suspect may not have any pants on, and so that's going to be something that's a question that we will certainly ask law enforcement and to see what the circumstances were and if they matter at all in this case. But we're going to go ahead and stay back a little bit because you don't want to show anything inappropriate. But yeah, there were two. You see those two squad cars, the white ones. Those two were really well. The one in the back has not changed positions, but they had to move the one that's toward the bottom of the screen. They had to put it in reverse and move it back a little bit because they were pinned right up against that SUV. And there was a black squad car as well that was kind of to the front, and so this individual had gotten pinned in. The windshield, you can see, was damaged. They may have hit something. Don't know if the officers rammed the vehicle at all, because again, we didn't see the end of this. This is just the end result. And then we saw a couple of seconds where the suspect did not want to get out of that SUV. There were a number of officers who had their weapons drawn. They had to go through a side door, the sliding side door, or that passenger door in the back, and get inside and eventually pull him out. And so he's handcuffed, and he is sitting on the ground right now with at least a top on.
And it looks like law enforcement is going through the vehicle right now. We didn't know when this all was going on how many people were in the car, if it was just the driver or more. It appears that the driver that is now sitting handcuffed on the street was the only person in the car. But again, we don't know exactly why he was evading police. That chase went on for upwards of 45 minutes. It began around 3:40, and the driver was very reckless in trying to get away from the law enforcement presence that was behind him, and now handcuffed on the street. And still a lot of questions, but you always hope in cases like this that it doesn't end with either a pedestrian getting hurt, another driver getting hurt. And it appears that the white law enforcement vehicle, the squad car towards the top of the screen, is actually kind of up and under the backside of the SUV that's now pressed up against what appears to be some sort of a street sign or parking sign. So we don't know exactly how this ended, but it appears that it ended without anybody else getting hurt.
Yeah, which is a very, very good thing, because at many points it looked as if pedestrian or other drivers could have certainly been harmed with just the way this individual was driving. We've covered a lot of these chases, and he was driving as aggressively as I've ever seen anyone drive, and so glad that this has come to an end. Again, this all started at about 3:40. We were told it was a disturbance that officers were responding to at home. Led its way for a number of miles throughout the Houston area, and now has thankfully come to an end.
Yeah, and any new developments with this story, we'll keep you updated. The news at 5 o'clock and also on click2houston.com. We'll be right back.